Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now welcome to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Constant Brooks. This episode we're going to talk about, you know, good tools and bad tools. Because what happened is that, and I'm doing this 9 to 5 during, what happened is that one thing that I realized was that, so I went there to actually practice my communication and stuff like that. Practice how to talk to these people. But what happened was that, at some point, it was not me that is me bad at communicating. It was the tools. It was the tools, bro. So what happened was that some of the time the tools were so bad that I have to be actually actively going out to actually over communicate and stuff like that. And these are one of the things that I realized in that I said back to the business of science again. But I said executing. What happened is that, one of the things that I want, should happen is always we should able to have the highest um quality things, quality things. Because one of the things that I realized in business, one of the things that I realized in business is not was that so when a business become mainstream, what happened is that the upgrade to the new system is to a new system is very slow because what happened is that they took so much time to actually build that system to actually change it is really it will be take a lot of time to actually introduce a new system, so they really take a long time to do it. But you know in the real business of science and the real science I was speaking about, this should be a much quicker in the sense that not the sense that okay, we upgrade the new stuff quickly, but what happens is that we, we should be able to be the standard, and able to the quality should be it should be quality stuff. It should be a good quality stuff at base. Like, doing the job, we're talking to people that, we're trying to communicate to these people. And what happens is that sometimes they don't understand it. But what I realize is that yo, they sh- one thing that I think that could happen is that when they don't basically just test the do like a test on the tools that they're using to make sure that all the tools that they're using is of high quality. Because now when I work in that job, I realize that is not I'm not the first one that work at this job. This company has been around since 1997. So what happens that there's a lot of people there, and what happens is that the tools where they're used by people over time, they wear and tear. But what happens is that they don't take the time to actually invest in replacing and make sure that everything's up to standard. And one of the reasons for that is because the recycling and repair process that was not really take time to actually um take time to actually put into where I said back to in the symbiotic relationship of business. So boom, you have the business and you have a certain set of tools that you're gonna use. Boom. And you have a next business now that focus on repairing and replacing the tools that basically ensure that okay, these are always high quality, so that every day they come, or every night, or like the day before we start working, the night come, they do a big test on all the tools. Be like, yo, all the tools are working, and then say, boom, that tool is not working. We replace it real quick so that when the workers come in the morning, it's like it's all up to quality. So it's not the tools that is giving the issue. Maybe that's people's deficiency. And then what happened now? You have the other business now that focus on maybe repairing or replacing that other tools, so that there's a dedicated section to that, replacing those stuff. so that we don't have those. So it's always quality, and people know their role. So that's another thing where good tools, in the business, you have to actually have quality tools so that people are doing quality work. We can't be doing half-ass stuff with low quality stuff. It What will happen is that the 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 effort would not be due to the what how good or bad the company is not it will not be accurately measured because there are things that the company did. There are parts of the company side that affected the, the customer's ability to actually do their work. So it would not be a fair pay stuff like that. People talk about fair pay or stuff like that. It would not be accurate. If the employer is not using the best tools or quality tools, they're not basically being judged on their effort. They're being judged on half-ass effort. So that's one of those things as well that already take into account with the business of science. You have to actually have it has to be up to standard so that we always are doing. We're not doing. It's always up to standard so that when we come in, people feel confident in the fact that okay, we're working with quality stuff. That's the I guess that's the thing. It builds moral support. It builds confidence in the business. Like yo, I know where I'm coming. I'm working with quality stuff. I'm working with quality stuff. It's not no joke. It's like so that's the thing. It builds confidence in the business, and what happens is that it brings the best out of your employee because what happens is that it's not their fault. You make sure they're equipped with the best stuff so that when they come in and you prepare to train them, they're basically executing on the most quality products. So it's like, yo, boom. As simple as that. So and that's the next thing about the the business of science. Now you have to actually have good tools. And the next thing is have a system to actually replace the bad tools so that you can always have the good tool. Because what happens is that the good tool will eventually turn bad. So you have to find a way to replace them. So I guess that is the missing element of many companies. The replacing part of it, effective replacing. Yeah. So that's basically it for this episode. Now thanks for listening. I look forward for our next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
17th week, bro. 17th week. And this week, I guess, is I guess it is why you kind of the stereotypical what they say now the workplace is not people people at your workplace aren't your friends stuff. It kind of gets they kind of understand it because it's where the 17th week is where I realize that everybody's there to do business and they're there to make money. They make that clear from the training, and it's like no matter how much you build a rapport and stuff like that, everybody is there to make their money. So it's like if you're not actually there to actually put in the work, they